Are there any board models or designs that you're working on now?
Yeah, actually, I ran into Mickey Munoz, and I was in Mexico, Dennis Choate. And Dennis suffers from the same thing I have, but he suffers it for 10 years longer than I have, age. And he's having trouble popping up. And so he was talking with Mickey, and Mickey told him, look, as you get older, you got to go wider. And that makes the board stable. So, and I have slight neuropathy in my feet to where sometimes I feel the board and a lot of times I don't. So I built this board. Most of the boards I ride are in between 8, 6, and 9 feet, and they're a pointed nose board because I never nose rode, even when I surfed in the 60s. I never rode the nose, so I don't need a nose. So it just looks like from 100 yards away, it looks like a 7-foot gun, but it's actually a blown up board that was 22 3/4 wide. The one I rode at Scorpion Bay this last 5 times I was there in really good waves. They're quite thick, but I pull the rails way down. And so what the latest one I built, I opened it up 1 1/4 inches. So now the board is 24 1/4, which you would think is really going to be tough to ride. Well, absolutely, it's absolutely the opposite of that. It paddles in easy. You jump to your feet. You're very stable, and it's how you create the bottom contour. How the board just rolls over. I can turn that board as well as I could a board that was 22 1/2 inches wide.
Really?
Yeah. I think what's been lost is in surfboard building is everybody's just pigeonholed of, I got leaders and I got this much volume and I have to have this because this guy's riding this. Well, when you get my age and you're still a pretty competent surfer and you're not afraid of ways of consequence, you need a board that will actually work for you and not against you. And so now really I just sent Anthony, my webmaster, the copy of what the board is for the website, and I'm building the board this weekend for the picture for the website. But we named it, we went through a bunch of different names, but it had to revert back to what guys in the 50 and up who are still trying to ride boards that just do this under them and they can't, they get to their feet and the wave just runs off. You want a board you can get in early and just kind of set your rail and just go. We named it the Master, and it's going to be a good board for guys who can still surf, but you can't buy this board in a surf shop.
Yeah.
This thing does not exist in a surf shop.
Because it has to be custom? Because
number one, I don't really sell to surf shops, and number two, nobody builds a board 24 inches wide.
Yeah.
Now, they're not all that wide. I would recommend that whatever you're riding, if you wanted to try this board, you would go 1 inch wider.
Gotcha. What category does it fit into? Would you call it a glider, maybe?
No, it's a shortboard. It has a
shortboard.
Has a shortboard rocker to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a shortboard, just a bigger shortboard. Again, I ride a bigger one. I'm building Trip Foreman at Real Water Sports one right now. It's 7.2. Bless you.
Excuse me.
7.2, and it's 23 inches wide. And it's 3 1/8 thick. But again, the thickness to me is inconsequential because the board I ride is 4 inches thick. But the rail is the same rail I would put on a board that's 2 3/4.
Totally.
So it just rolls right over.
So what length is the one you're riding?
The one I just made myself is an 810 because
Okay.
when I was at Scorpion Bay a couple weeks ago, I was riding a board that was 9.4 in the picture that you saw.
Yeah.
But since I opened it up that inch, I brought the board down in size.
Gotcha. What fin setup?
I ride a 3 fin, 3 equal size.
Big fins?
No, 3 equal size shortboard fins.
But are they large size?
They're the NVS fins I do. I think I don't know what size they are. But the way they should be set up is a 5 fin or a 3 fin.
Okay.
Because it has a wing. And that was the thing. What the board is my original Nomad from 92. But I opened it up and I put a wing at the front fins. So it gives you that area to pick that wave up. I mean, this thing catches waves like stupid. And it's very stable, and it really, you start counting when you get in your late 60s. Really, how many more years do I have of surfing? So you constantly have to reinvent yourself of how is this going to stay easy for me and not get more difficult than it already is. I've always said I made a career out of watching people surf. I watch people surf, and I can tell that, Jesus, man, your board is like 2 feet too short. But you want to ride what Kelly Slater's riding. I get it. But you're 60 years old. That's why when you paddle into the wave, you get to your feet late and the wave has already ran off. And that's because you don't have enough board.
Yeah.
And it's basically image driven and social media and who's riding what, as opposed to what's practical for you. What is going to work for you?
Well, that sounds like a great addition to the catalog then.
Yeah, it should be available on the website. The board not for sale, but at least for to look at within the next 2 weeks, I would think.
Okay.
Cool. Hopefully before boardroom. Yeah. I'm actually going to take the one I'm building for trip to boardroom.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I think it's going to open up a lot of area for people to really still enjoy surfing without riding a 10-6 longboard.
Yeah.